Our generation and the past few are literally the first generations where we have children who've never seen the night sky, who've never looked up and seen stars. There's a lot of bridges in Chicago, and this project would basically span under three of them. It's the Michigan Avenue Bridge, the Wabash Bridge, and the State Street Bridge. So it was basically one February night where I was walking, it was really cold, and I was walking across the bridge right in front of Trump Tower on the Michigan Avenue Bridge on the Chicago River. And I remember looking out and seeing how beautiful the sight was, and I look up and I realized there's no stars. And it just struck me because I realized I'd never really seen stars in Chicago. And you have all this beauty, all this light, yet the singular thing that links us to, this greater universe around us, we are largely without. And looking at the ice floes below, and it was really stunning. But then I thought, well, wouldn't it be amazing if we could actually bring the stars back to people's everyday life here in Chicago? And the idea would be if the lights could literally change throughout the night and throughout the seasons and actively reflect the celestial bodies that we can't see, people might think more beyond just simply how beautiful a sight is, but to something deeper. And that's how I got my title. The work's called Bridges. It would almost be like just simply adding another layer of mystery to a place. And this project could go in a number of different sites, and even in a number of different types of media. So I've looked at a number of light systems. One which is commonly used in underwater oil rigs. They have really robust, high-powered LED lights that can be focused, so you can get a very narrow beam that would really pierce the surface of the water without causing too much light pollution in the surrounding water. So you really have these fine points of light. And what we would do is we would essentially attach these light pods and arrays that could be floated to the surface or sunk back down and secured at the bottom. And they would basically be linked up to a computer that would tell them when to turn on and turn off. Most of my work while in graduate school has been pretty much evolved around creating environments that are interactive to the user. And when I say interactive, I worked with separate technologies that allowed for, say, the viewer to actually play with light along a wall, or trying to take that kind of idea and put into the public space. Memphis has got 1.5 million, 1.5, 1.6 million people. So we thought there's a lot of light too. Not as much as Chicago, but still, it's not being out in the country and being able to see the stars. But I remember, I think it was 2003, we had this really, really wicked storm. We ended up calling it Hurricane Elvis, and it knocked out our power for about 3 weeks. About 900,000 people were out of power for a couple weeks. And I remember that first night looking up, the whole city was blacked out, and you could see the Milky Way. And we were all standing out in the middle of the street and having barbecues. I was meeting my neighbors for the first time because we didn't have electricity. And there's something magical about standing in the middle of a city and being able to actually see the sky.